logical call flow in AWS Amazon Connect Word is called contact flows, wherein it's end-to-end experience of the user when the caller calls in and is welcomed via a prompt and then given multiple options. And then according to the options customer chooses is delivered to a queue and is able to talk to a live agent. So pretty much the logical diagram that we created is something, the whole creation of knitting the queues, the agents, the routing profile, checking the business hours and everything is in Amazon Connect World is called a contact flow. So end-to-end delivery. Okay. So let's go ahead and create our contact flow without any further delay. So I'm under uh, routing section, the second last option, and then I'm under the contact flows. You would see already published contact flows into the system. So the status shows published, right? So you can use uh, all of them, they are all published and ready to be edited. You can modify a bit and then go from there, right? So for instance, if you go about, talk about, let's say this one, default customer queue, okay? Uh, I open the pre-built option here, okay? This one doesn't really detail out much, so I'm gonna go back to find out some other contact flows so that I can give you a glimpse of what it really looks like. Uh, Default audio plays a customer waiting in queue. Outbound default queue transfer. Okay, let's use this one here. Default queue transfer. I hope it's going to explain a bit into the details. Yeah, right. So from start point, it's going to check the hours of operations, just like we planned, in hours or out of hours, right? And then checking the staff, and then playing the prompt, or if it's false, playing the prompt accordingly, and then it's going to transfer the call to the queue, and then whoever is available in that queue will be played, right? Will be connected. And then finally, it's going to be disconnected. So we can use this and edit this, right? And we can just choose a save as after editing it and then make it our own. Or alternatively, we can simply go ahead and start our own. So I'm going to go to contact flows and build it on our own. So, it's more easy for you to build it yourself. It doesn't need any, much of programming language expertise where you need to talk about the variables, the different type of runtime data, right? The string, the prompts, the audio, and so on. You don't really need to come from a programming uh, background wherein you're doing pretty much logical stuff. It's in the set of operations right here on the left hand side you see is pre-programmed stuff that are ready to use. All you need to do is just simple drag and drop. Okay, it's just at your disposal for you to utilize, any of them, right? And they are distributed amongst these all five categories. So interaction with the customer, wherein the customer or the caller will be played back a prompt, uh, get customer input, right? Or the set variable or the set, I would say set instructions, set features where you can set the queues, set the contact attributes, uh, and the branch options, for instance, check the hours of operations, right? Or the integrate option where you can uh, integrate your contact center with a database, which is hosted in Amazon Connect and so on, or you could utilize other services from AWS. And then finally, transferring to the queue or disconnecting the call or transferring to an external number and so on. Okay, so these logical group of functions really enable you to do a lot of stuff without even having any background whatsoever from the programming side. So let's go back to our call flow, okay, wherein we see that, okay, the customer calls this main number, And that's where our work starts. Okay. So we got to map our call flow with this number later on that we claimed, but our call flow will start from here actually. Okay. So we'll create the call flow and then map this number that we claimed to our call flow. So the first thing that happens is the customer is welcomed, right? And a prompt is played. So I'm going to go back and say, interact with the customer, play a prompt. Beautiful. And it's very easy for you to, just test it, play around. Uh, so I just click on the top of this play prompt function, all right, and then it opens up a new small window for me. Okay. So it says that select the prompt library audio, okay, or select a prompt audio format, and it gives me these all options: customer hold, customer queue, jazz music, pop, rock, etc. But what do we really want here? We want the caller to hear, thank you for calling ABC Corporation. Yeah. So I'm going to just copy it and text to speech. Okay. So it's going to literally, read out for us whatever we type it in here. Thank you for calling ABC Corp support. Okay. So you could just say a comma, or uh, you could say dot, dot, dot. So it adds a little, pause to it. Okay. And then say, interpret it as a text or SSML. So we're going to talk about SSML in later session, but for now, let's keep it simple, right? Let's make it simple plain text. All right, so the entry is connected to this play prompt, and once the prompt is played, what really happens? Let's refer back to our call flow. Check the business hours off, or off business hours. So I'm going to say, no, we're not interacting here anything. We are going to go to the branch and check the hours of operation. And we know that we have got our two options here. One is business hours and one is out of business hours. So let's click on the top of it, and here is what we have: specific hours of operation. And remember, we created Monday to Friday business hours. So let's choose this option here and say save. And you don't really need to do anything in here. Monday to Friday is selected. Now, based on that, in hours or off business hours, right? So in hours, let's create the in hours flow first and transfer it to the queue successfully. Then we can talk about the out of hours. Okay, so let's keep it simple. So the prompt is played. Now it's going to go to the check Monday to Friday business hours stuff. And if it's in hours, what happens really? So then we see that, okay, there is another prompt that is played. Press 1 for orders, 2 for sales, and it's the system should now be expecting some inputs from the caller, right? So let's choose from the option given here, uh, interact, and get the customer input. Okay. Yes, we want the customer to choose from the options, right? So just like the play prompt, we're gonna say text to speech option, all right? And it says delivers an audio or chat message to solicit customer input. I'm gonna say text to speech. Let's copy what we have in here in our call flow diagram. Press 1 for orders, 3 dots in the end. Press 2 for sales. Let me just expand it a bit from the right hand bottom corner so it's easily visible. And that's it, right? Now, well, it is going to be interpreted as text, right? We don't want to be make it SSML, which is a much more detailed language, very easy to customize, right? And whether we want it to be a DTMF or Amazon Lex. So the DTMF is like plays an audio prompt and branches based on DTMF, which is like the customer touch tone input. Okay, from your cell phone, you can just press 1, 2, 3, 4, right? uh, or Amazon Lex input. So I'm going to say no, we want to be for the customer to type in their options. Okay. And for each options, it needs to wait for at least 5 seconds for the customer to respond before timing out. And let's say one for sales, uh, two for or vice versa. One for orders, two for sales, three for technical support, and the fourth option was for play office address, right? Okay, so we created these four options, right? So it has got listed out for us. Press one for this, two for that, three for this, four for that, right? And it's also gonna play this prompt that we just typed in under this section. Okay, so I'm just gonna say it's in ours, right? Go do this. All right, it's a bit tilted. I don't know why, but okay. Uh, what happens now when it's the customer now is gonna press one, right? So it's gonna go to the queue, right? So press one is meant for a queue transfer to orders, right? So I'm gonna just choose the option which is meant for the queues. So it's gonna be under the terminate transfer option. I'm gonna choose transfer to queue. So how many queues do we have? So we have got four queues, right? So three queues, one, two, three, and the fourth option is just a play prompt, right? So I'm just gonna do it as close as possible so the canvas looks neat. You can, uh, you know, small, decrease the size of the canvas so you could see more options here or increase it so you have got visibility. So for now, I've just added these three. Let's me zoom in and zoom out and connect press one to transfer the queue. All right, let's put it a bit farther so it's clearer. Now transfer to queue. But before that, right, we want to have the set queue option as well because we haven't really set the queue, right? So let's remove this first and before transferring the queue, because AWS Contact Center needs to know which queue, right? So before this step, let's add the set queue option as well. So go to the set working queue. How many queues again? So there are three queues that we want to add in. So I'm gonna just put these box very close to each other so they look neat. So press one for this queue and it says none selected. So no, I want to select the queue here. So what options do we have? By queue or by agent? So we want to do by queue. The first option is for orders. So let's say orders. The second one is for sales. So I'm going to select sales, save it. Third one is for technical support. I'm going to select technical support. All good. So now I'm going to make the connections. Option two for sales, option three for technical support. Perfect. So now the queues are set. Uh, and now we are ready to transfer the calls to the different queues. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna transfer the queues, and this is pretty much it. Now, what really happens when, let's define it. What happens, uh, when it's on capacity, at capacity, or for instance, there are no agents available, right? So we want to play a prompt informing the caller that, you know what, you got to wait while the call is transferred. Do not disconnect or something like that, right? So we're going to say text to speech. Um, your call is important to us. The dots. Please wait in the queue while your call is being transferred to the next available engineer or agent. Okay. So copy and interpret it as a text. That's fine. I'm gonna connect it like that. And what happens after this prompt is played back, right? So, and we got to do it for the same thing for all these cues, right? And then at go back to the queue. Wait a second. And so alternatively, what we could do is just select a prompt here, and you have got a lot of options as well. For instance, you can play uh, customer queue or certain music. So let's select customer queue in here. And then we're gonna let the caller be into this listening mode until the queue, is available with an engine with an agent, and the call is answered. So it's going to be under a loop, constantly playing this music, the customer queue. Okay. Uh, and then, so the success one is all good, right? Let's go ahead and do the last part of it, which is what happens when the customer is connected with a live agent. So it's going to disconnect the call afterwards. So when that happens, you can just simply disconnect the interaction. So it's an end-to-end entry for a successful call. Now we got to handle the second branch, which is the out of business hours. So for out of business hours, we want to play a prompt, right? We want to say simply say down below text to speech. And we have the text already available with us where we can say our working hours are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Please call us back during the business hours. Thanks. Okay. And we're gonna say interpret it as a text. So out of business hours, we're gonna connect this link here down to display prompt. And what after that? So we're gonna just say hang up the call, don't worry. All right, my canvas is a bit bigger now, so I have to just, decrease the size and connect it to the disconnect terminal after handling this prompt, okay? So this option is done. What happens for the error thing? So we could say you play a prompt for the error thing and say, we are sorry, we are experiencing some technical problem like that, okay? So I'm gonna say text to speech. Uh, we are sorry, we are experiencing system problem. Kindly call us back again. Okay, and then hit save. So for the errors, just connect this one here. Uh, and let me just connect for this error as well. And this error as well, because ultimately I really want to handle all the errors in a similar fashion. This error as well. Okay, let me just do it this way. Right. Okay. All right, and this error as well. I'm just doing it, clicking here and then down here. So it automatically is going to select no. So it is just crossing it. Let me just try to do it this way. If I can do it from the bottom of it. No, it's just taking it from the top. All right, anyway, so I have just connected the error part 1, 2, 3, 4, right? All the error part right here. Okay. Maybe I just move this right here so it looks better. Yeah. Okay. So now all the errors are handled down below at this play prompt. Uh, all the off business hours will be handled like this, and then after that it'll be disconnect. Let me see if you have got any disconnected node. So connected, all three. Now the four is not connected. Timeout, default, and error is not. So what do we want in case of this one here? Let's deal with it. So customer 1, 2, 3 option is connected. Press 4 was to play the office address, right? So we need to just do a play prompt here for office address to be played out to the customer. So I'm just going to keep it down below and say text to speech, our office address is dot 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 whatever, you know, New York, United States of America. It could be something real, right? So I'm really running short of my creativity to find the real address, but it could be any real address, and then say yes, save. And connect this option 4 to this option here. And once done, all we need to do is just disconnect the call. So I'm gonna make it a little smaller and then choose this option here. Oops. Save. Make it a little larger so it's getting confused here. Oh, there is an arrow down here which was hidden. I wasn't able to see it. Okay. All right. So option number 4 is also taken care of. Now the remaining two is the timeout, but the customer did not press anything, right? What do you want to do? You want to go and send the caller back to the main welcome menu. Thank you for calling and so on. So let it go there. Now for the default as well, let's go ahead and get it down there. Error is already handled. So all the dots now for this one is handled. Now I see the error for this working queue is not set. So let's go ahead and set it for the error one. We are experiencing system problem. This one as well. And this one is handled. This one is handled. This one is handled. Two, 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 two. And all right, looks good. Okay. We've pretty much achieved our workflow here. So the customer will call this number. We are yet to map this to our IVR, but we have created this business hours we have checked, options are checked, and then the calls are going to be transferred and it's going to end. Now, basically before publishing it, right, just validate all the dots are connected. I'll go ahead and try to save it. Let me just, okay, so we haven't typed in any name for this queue, so let's go ahead and do that. ABC IVR main menu. And then hit on save here. Description is optional, but we can put that in here as well. And that type of contact flow is inbound, so we're gonna do it as this. Let's save it with that, right? The contact flow is saved, but we haven't published it yet. So what does that mean? That means that it's not live yet, okay? This is created and it is okay to be published now. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on publish and it's gonna prompt me, are you sure you want to publish this contact flow? Yes. That was the whole purpose of creating it. So I hit on publish and it says that there is an error message and in ours, for some reason I missed this, it got disconnected while we were planning. So that's something, it does it in action. So you saw that I miss on some part, though we tried creating it, but it's pretty complex. So no worries. So at error, we're gonna say, where's our error handling? This one. This guy here, player prompt, we're experiencing system problem. And what happens to this? Okay, after error, what happens? We have got two options. We can simply go ahead and put it back to the queue or disconnect the call. So let's disconnect the call and let the caller call back. Okay. Now let's save it. And I hope the errors are gone. Let's publish it. Okay, still not connected somewhere. It says, let me just click down here. It says connection missing. So all output needs to be connected to another blocks. So, right, where is it missing? Okay, the input itself. No, that's also connected, right? This is also connected, connected. Where exactly it's not connected, right? We got to just take a look at it. Something, right? Let me just try it one more time. To me, it looks connected, but let me just take one more time. Just a second. Let me see what's going on. Okay, so some arrows were missing right here. It was, not connected properly. So I just investigated. It was just about the pointings. And now everything looks good. And congratulations, we have got our contact flow saved successfully. And if you see the latest, it says that it was published. So if you see published right here and along with the success thing, you're good to go. So our call flow is, published. All we need to do is just go ahead and map it to the number that we created, this main number. Okay, so we're gonna do that right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our phone number that we claimed. This is our main number that we claimed, and let's call it now ABC Corp IVR and select it under the one which is we created ABC IVR main menu. Let's save it. This is it. So we have created our IVR and published it. And now we have mapped this number to our IVR as well. So we should be good to make a test call and go from there. Right. So let me just do it right away. Or let's test the session in the next one for now. Let me just pause the video and see you in the next one wherein we're gonna test our live session. Thank you.